Oversized portions and eating out can really skew your idea of how much is an appropriate amount to eat. Packaged, takeaway, and even whole foods like bananas and chicken breasts have increased in size over the past 30 years, so you can be forgiven for having no clue about how much is right to eat. Here at Portion Perfection, we've got all the tools to make it easy to get it right. A nice place to start is with your dinner plate. Now, most people eat dinner, and usually there's some component of protein, carbohydrate, and low starch vegetables. So then it's just a matter of getting the proportions right and the portion size. The key really is using your plate every day. So we need to turn it into a habit. So to help, I've spoken with Dr. Gina Cleo from the Habit Change Institute. Gina's one of the world's leading experts in habit change, and she's passionate about translating scientific evidence into easy, manageable strategies that you can apply to change your habits and make them last long term. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you so much, Amanda. So lovely to be chatting with you.
Yeah, Gina, I love the idea that we can transform kind of new behaviours that we think will be beneficial for us into lasting habits. Just like remembering to use your portion plate. Now, I seem to recall that you had a component of using a smaller plate in the research that you did. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. We ran a study where we wanted to basically focus on habit change interventions to try to help people lose weight, but also keep that weight off. And we didn't want to use specific diet or exercise interventions. We really just wanted to look at general lifestyle strategies. And one of those strategies for one of the habit forming groups was to use caution with their portions, and using a smaller plate was one of those strategies. And it was really actually amazing because, as you know, portion sizes have increased over the years. So we found that when participants used caution with their portions, they became more mindful and they had more awareness of their true hunger and fullness cues. And most participants noticed that they were usually eating more than they needed. So this awareness resulted in them naturally reducing their meal portions and therefore eating less throughout the day without feeling deprived.
That's really interesting. Can I actually ask you how they used caution with their portions?
Yeah, so we asked them to use smaller plates with their main meals and to only go back 4 seconds, for example, after they had sat with that first serving for about 5 to 10 minutes. So they were the main things that we used. And just to also be, for example, if they're at a buffet or if there's plenty of food on the table, to put all the food on their plate at one time, enjoy that before reaching out for more servings.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest problems at conferences, where they keep bringing us extra little things because you don't see it all together in one spot.
So true. You put a cheese board in front of me and I mean, I have no idea how much I'm eating, but it's going to be all gone.
There's so much benefit from applying these small everyday habit changes. So how do we do it?
There's a lot of theory and that needs to be understood to be really able to apply habit principles. But I'll give you some quick tips that you can apply straight away. So one of them, and as boring as this sounds, it's actually to start small. Research shows that small and manageable steps are much easier not only to initiate, but to sustain compared to those big changes that we want to create. You know, it's much easier to start walking, for example, around the block rather than try to run 10 kilometers.
For sure.
And it's the adding up of those small little things that adds up over time into habit change. Because when you think about it, if I said to you to, run 10 kilometers and you haven't run before, it's a very overwhelming task and you're not likely to sustain it.
I might not even start.
Yeah, I wouldn't even start, right? Yeah. Habits are all about consistency and not intensity. Every time you repeat a behavior, you're strengthening those neural pathways in your brain. You're strengthening that part in your brain that says, I do this. And so the more you do it, the easier it becomes and the more automatic it becomes. So So if you can do something small consistently, you are well on your path to creating habits. And the other tip is to set a trigger. And what I mean by that is habits are always triggered by something else. When you sit in the car and you put on your seatbelt, putting on your seatbelt is a habit, but it's triggered by you sitting in the car. Eating lunch at midday, for example, might be a habit. You might not even be hungry, but midday might trigger you to eat lunch. And so habits are always triggered by something. So if you want to create a new habit, set a trigger. That could be the place you're in or the time of day. And in the same way, if you want to break a habit, try to be mindful of when you're doing it. Where are you? What time of day is it? And then try to change around your triggers to try to break those unwanted habits.
Yeah, that was something that you did in your research, wasn't it? Tried to disrupt the bad habit or the habit that you were trying to get rid of.
That's right. What was interesting about that is we were actually just disrupting the general flow of the day. So we were asking the participants in the habit breaking group to do things like drive a different way to work or listen to a different radio station. And it sounds crazy, and it kind of is crazy, but the reason it worked is that one habit feeds off another. If you drive the same way to work and you park in the same spot, you're going to walk in the office and you'll do the same thing, whether that be grab a coffee and a muffin or whatever it might be. And so if you disrupt your daily routines, what happens is you disrupt the flow of habits. So that means you can be more mindful. If you drive a different way to work, you park in a different spot, then you start to walk in the office and think, do I actually feel like a coffee and a muffin today? Because you're not in that natural flow.
Perfect. So the three things are to start small, to set a trigger, and to just keep doing it.
Be consistent. That's it.
Perfect. So there you have it. It's that simple. Gina, where can people find out more about this process and how to apply it to modify their habits, particularly for weight control?
Well, we have got an exciting new program coming up on the 1st of August called Creating Healthy Habits. It's the first course of its kind, and it's only a few weeks ago, so I'm very excited about this. We will be taking a deep dive into all things habits. So members will learn how to better understand their habits, why we do the things we do, and they'll be able to recognize their triggers and why we sometimes intend on doing one thing but end up doing something else. And then finally, we will really be equipping members into how to form new healthy habits and break their old unwanted habits with these very user-friendly step-by-step guidelines.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gina. So everyone, click the link below to learn more about the course and how to make your new habits stick.